Hi, my name's Izzy. I'm a tattoo artist in Los Angeles, California, and today I'm going to be talking about a tattoo machine that was sent to me by the brand Favvosee. I think that's how you pronounce it, but I'm not entirely sure, but I'm going to put it up so that I get everything correct. So this company reached out to me over Instagram and asked me if I would try out one of their tattoo machines. What I was actually looking for in terms of expanding sort of my toolbox as a tattooer was a machine that would be good for smooth black and gray shading. But when this company reached out to me, I asked them if they had any machines that would be good for soft shading. Went to test the machine out. That was kind of what I was focusing on the most, how well it would do with soft shading. So this is the box that it came in. I already opened it because I have already tested out the product yesterday in the shop. Just like this. There was the machine right here and then a pack of cartridges. I think tattoo, and these were all 7 mags. In terms of cartridges, I usually notice the quality or difference in quality more with liners. With mags, I'm neither here nor there. As long as they do the job, they stay in the machine, they don't pop out, they don't break, I'm happy with pretty much any mags. These are flat mags, I believe. I don't really use flat mags. I'm mostly using curved mags, but these are 7. They're pretty small, so the difference in application, like at least as far as we could tell when we were trying these out, is minimal. There's 2 missing because I used 2 of them yesterday for shading and for packing in some color. So this is the box that it came in, and that's the name of the company right there. And then this is the logo for the company right there. Okay, so the box opens like this, and now on top was, I think I put this in the wrong way, but that was the RCA cord and the adapter for charging the machine. Those were in here. It came with the RCA cord right here. This is just if you want to link it up to a power source. I know a lot of tattooers, even if they're using pens with power sources built in, still prefer to use certain power sources. I will probably not use this. And this one is the charging adapter, and it plugs into most charging blocks. We did try charging the machine. We started it was around 75%, and it got to 100% pretty quickly. I have no complaints about the speed at which it charged. So the machine looks like this in the box, and I specifically asked for the cyan color because I liked it. Oh, and it also came with some spare parts. So this is what the machine looks like. I'm not gonna lie, when I saw it online, I thought it was gonna be smaller, but the weight on this is acceptable for me. I didn't really have any issues with how this felt in my hand, but I still would say that I'm more comfortable with the smaller machine. Kind of matches my shirt. I love the color on it a lot. Obviously when it's wrapped, and I'll show you how I usually wrap this machine, how I wrap them. When it's wrapped, you can't really see the color, but that doesn't matter. Oh, there's a couple things I really like about the design on this. First of all is the end. You turn the machine on by pressing down right here, and then it turns on right there. And then you increase the voltage with these buttons. You can just hold and it'll increase faster, which I like. I like machines that kind of like slide up and down if you just hold the button down, so you're not like pressing. And I also really like that it's pretty intuitive. You press that button again and then the machine starts running. I like that it'll run without the cartridge in it too. That way you can test to make sure it's working and everything. So the machine ranges from 4 volts to 12 volts. That's a pretty acceptable range for me. I very rarely see any need to go below 4 volts or above 12 volts. I usually line at around a 7 or 8, depending on the skin type and what I'm lining and what kind of liner I'm using. You can replace the battery by removing this part. You can clean it if you take the tube part off. So that's great. I think the name of the machine is Hidden because it says that right there, it's engraved. It's a little bit difficult to adjust your needle depth or your needle hang. It's not difficult, but it's just a little bit more effort required. And when it was wrapped, I noticed that it was a little bit more difficult to adjust. And I do think that that's just because of the way that I wrap the machine usually is not compatible with this machine. So I would have to probably figure out a different way to wrap it so that the twisting didn't get interfered with. But that's not that big of a deal. So I tried the machine out on a tattoo that I already have. It was just a line work tattoo that was pretty patchy and didn't heal very well, and I basically decided to just kind of touch up the lines, add some smooth shading, and then also add some color. I used a Radical cartridge 5-round liner tight, and then also 2 of the 7 mags that were included in the set. So I tried it with a liner and 2 of those shaders that were provided to me. lining wise, I felt like the lines went in pretty smooth and solid. I had it at an 8 and then dropped down to a 7 to kind of test out that range. That's usually where I line at, so that's kind of what I was going for. But I did have to move my hand a little slower than normal. My hand speed varies, but I'd say on average it's a little bit fast. So I had a coworker also test it out on the same tattoo, just to kind of see what he thought about it. He primarily uses coils and I primarily use rotaries, so I felt like I could get a good diversity of thought that way. He said that he felt like he had to slow his hand speed down a little bit, and that if he ever tried to go a little faster, he felt like the integrity of the line was compromised a little bit. But overall, I felt that the lines were pretty solid and I was happy with the way this machine lined. The next thing that we tried was the smooth shading. Obviously, that was the thing that I was primarily focused on. We used a 50/50 gray wash and dropped the voltage down to about a 6, which actually might be too high for what we were trying to accomplish, but bear in mind that the range of this machine is only from a 4 to a 12, so if a 6 is hitting too hard, a 4 might still be a little too high. When we dropped it down to a 6, I felt like, even though the machine felt gentle on my skin, remember I tried it on myself, I felt like the darks built up too quickly, and when we tried whip shading too, it was actually a really effective whip shading machine, which is great if you're doing any traditional work, or honestly I think it would be great for stipple shading too. But the blacks went in very heavy and then tapered off, but they weren't particularly light at any point. I would like to try it out more, and I do plan on using it a little bit more and trying some different shading techniques with it when I have a little bit more time. Next thing that we tried out was packing, or color packing. We did it with black and a little bit of red. I felt like the machine did a really great job of packing in the color. Like I said, it hits pretty hard and it feels gentle, but it definitely went in pretty easily. I didn't have to do multiple passes. One pass was enough, which bodes great for the packing and lining functions of the machine, but like I said, maybe not so great for a really light, smooth gray shading. I will say also that having an expectation of a machine of being a good smooth shader, I think is a little unreasonable. Smooth shading is so much about technique, and I'm confident that if you are an artist who is really good technique with smooth shading, that you might be able to effectively use this machine and not have any issues. Basically, if I was stuck in the shop and this was the only machine that I had, and I had a big tattoo coming in, I wouldn't have any fear about how this machine would function to do the tattoos that I need to do. It's actually a really good machine for the stuff that I'm doing, which is great. I think that this machine gets the job done overall. It's really intuitive to use, it's quiet, it's not particularly heavy or bulky. I will be trying this out more, and I am happy that I have it now. Thank you so much to the company for reaching out to me, and I appreciate you sending it to me.